Okay, so you got sex from
Yeah,
sex
yeah.
and pleasure from pleasure. What is going on? You're freaking dude.
Don't hold back how you feel. Welcome to the platform for the misunderstood and creatives alike. So roll a joint and pour a shot. You're listening to the Dash It Out podcast, the show that brings your after hours talk to daytime. No wrong opinions and all unfiltered. With your host, Vic Tor.
Okay, W.T.Hamiliton is here with us today. She's a multi-time award-winning and the author of The Promise and the Harsh Truth, and the creator of the world's first one-chapter book series, helping driven entrepreneurs solve business problems one chapter book at a time. Experience as a manager in the corporate world, along with his years of experience as a business management consultant and entrepreneur, gives him an abundance of insight and real-world knowledge of all things finance, and he's here with us today on the Dash It Out show. Thank you for coming on the show, buddy.
Hey, thank you for having me, man, and looking forward to this conversation.
Likewise. So, you need time for introductions. What more can the listeners know?
So I really try to help people solve problems by the experiences that I have, showing them like what actually worked for me. And so, really by doing that, I connect a lot with younger people and people that are ambitious and just want to try to turn their ideas into something more than just an idea.
Good. You have a nice yeah, you never have a home.
Yeah.
And I took a big time to take out your work, for your bio, and you definitely seem like someone that gathered a lot of insight into things. Have adaptability when it comes to certain circumstances, which is going to bring you to your book, which I would like to speak about. Can you tell us about the book, Promise and Harsh Truth, and how has this book secured your win for a Book of Excellence Award and a Global Book Award in 2021? What was the highlight?
Yeah, so the book, so the reason I wrote the book was to help people understand. So like, the Harsh Truth was really about the struggles of being an entrepreneur and the struggles of starting your own business and the realities, like the harsh truths of, not what you see on Instagram, that everything's just going to be awesome and everybody's going to love you and say, oh, you're great, I love your product. But the real struggle of when you try to do something and nobody's supporting you and you're on your own and you got to figure it out. So I really walk people through how to accomplish your dream and how to get through those big struggles where even if you have money is not enough. Like you need to build support, you need to build understanding, get mentorship, all those things. Like how do you actually do it, and what is the formula for success? So I really dive into all these things that worked for me, and I wrote it in a way that it is a story. So it's a conversation between an entrepreneur that's just getting started and a mentor that's kind of walks through those. So there's a back and forth conversation style book, and that was the first book I won an award for. So that really showed me that, okay, I'm good at what I'm doing, because up until then I was really just learning the craft of writing and seeing what I could do with it. And then the second book I did was The Promise, which is really about doing a sales pitch and learning how to do authentic business. And so it's another conversation style, but that one I did more like a Tony Robbins type of event where there's a speaker at the front, and then there's two characters that are interacting with the speaker at this event. So that won 2 awards for that book. And so really what I tried to do is write these books. I'm a big Tarantino fan. Pulp Fiction especially is one of my favorite movies. So I tried to do it in that style. Yeah. So it's in that kind of style of conversation and, it's being like a fly on the wall. Like what happens when people are talking about these type of things?
Interesting. I love that, because why I just want to kind of elaborate a little bit more on truth and knowing that, like you said in the beginning, I think it's that it's some things can definitely take some time, and within that time comes
Yeah.
trials and tribulations, the challenges that you may have been aware of, and you just want to do what you love to write, you know. So I definitely understand,
Yeah.
especially here on the show. Like Dance It Out show definitely has its trials and tribulations. Definitely have its ups and downs with booking, ups and downs with production, ups and downs with like the analytics and all the whole shit behind the scenes that you don't really see or talk too much about.
Yeah.
So I can definitely,
Yeah.
I can completely understand with the hard truth. And also, get back
Yeah.
up and keep it pushing. And another thing I was
Yeah.
going to speak on, because you said that you have developed your writing style. You have a lot of authors who still trying to
Mhm.
figure out their writing style, let alone what to write. Are there any tips that you can give
Mhm.
to someone to help them establish their writing style or create their own individuality within being an author?
Yeah, like so for what I can only talk about what really worked for me, and it was just being myself, right? So the first book I wrote was it was called uh, Ask for the Money, and it was really teaching people how to ask for the money, ask for the sale, and I did it in really just the way that I speak. So it wasn't polished. It was kind of rough and raw. And then what I did with that is I started to understand what reviewers were liking and what they didn't like, and then I kind of still holding true to my style and how I want to present things, but just kind of fine tuning it, tweaking it a bit, making it a little bit more appealing to not a huge audience, but a little bit of a wider audience. But my focus, so my background is I'm a big hip hop and reggae um, lover, and I used to have a rap reggae band. So hip hop is really a big piece of what I do. I quote rappers in my books. I quote Jay-Z, KRS-One. I quote a few other people, and so I always want to have that kind of mix. That's part of who I am. It's part of like why I'm successful is because I have that hip hop mentality that I don't wait for someone to say I can do something. I just go and do it. And if there's not an avenue, I just create the avenue for myself. And I really learned that from watching how rappers have done that and really just made their mark. KRS-One did it when there was no record deals going out yet. So you have to just press your own records and go to basement parties and build your rep up. So I'm like, okay, you can apply that to everything in life. Whatever you want to do, it's available to you if you got to create it. But it's the hard part. That's the unsexy, like what you're saying, right? The unsexy part of being an entrepreneur, running a podcast, running a business. It's all these things that you don't put on Instagram because it's not cool.
Right.
It's hard work, and people don't want to see that. They just want to see the end results and the celebration. But the unsexy part is trying to build up something that don't exist for you yet. And that takes, mindset. It takes some attitude. It takes some skills. And that's kind of what I apply to writing and finding my own style. And then once you find your rhythm and your style, it's really developing it and finding out what parts really work well and what parts maybe you got to either fine tune or let go of, but making sure that you're staying true to who you are so that you don't pretend to be somebody else. And then, you say you become successful. Now you're stuck being that pretend version of yourself. And that sucks. That's not fun.
I think that
Yeah.
definitely selling all selling your soul. This is to get who you
Yeah.
are as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you said, I mean, there's so many challenges, there's definitely going to be a rush and roll when it comes to starting. And of course, you got to keep it pushing, be authentic to your craft, but the most important thing is start. There's a lot of
Yeah.
procrastinating that tends to happen when God is behind the scenes of the unsexy part, like you said. The unsexy part is, it's not going to lure, it's not going to get on.
Yeah.
You really don't want to do. And there's definitely been
Yeah.
moments where I had to delegate. I know there's something I'm not
Yeah.
particularly good at, and I know I can spend most of my time doing what I'm good at. And exercise actual help isn't, there's simply nothing wrong with actual help. Now, don't get me wrong. You feel like you're an
Yeah.
OG, like, you shout out James Warren, shout out Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying? You got that, maybe like
Yeah.
old school hip hop vibe, but the thing is, it's just like, there's a grunt that comes up, right? So when that grunt
Yeah.
kicks in and that grunt mixed with passion, you can find yourself help you out, get that to you. Like you said, Jesus, the harsh truth is that sometimes you may not have that before. It's not always about being funny. Sometimes it really is that. So, it's
Yeah.
it's a work in progress. But first you gotta have that grit, you gotta start, get up off your ass and actually get to work. So
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely
Exactly.
love that. Definitely love the vibe. I definitely got an amazing vibe.
Yeah. And I tell people too, like, so you have talents, right? You have natural talents, and that's where I start when if I'm coaching someone. It's like, what is your natural talents, and then what are the things that you have time to learn, and then there's some things that you're not ever gonna have time to learn, like accounting. You might never want to learn accounting, right? So you got to farm that out. But say something like video editing, maybe you don't have time, but if you learn a little bit about it, then when you're hiring someone, you know, okay, this should take 5 hours to do. If this guy's quoting you 10, 15 hours, you know they're ripping you off. So it's good to understand a little bit about the process, even though you can't do it, just to know if that person's telling you, hey, I can do this, this, and this for this price, and you say to yourself, man, for me to do that, it's going to take me all this extra time. I'm just going to pay that guy this price. This is a good deal. So it's important to understand what it would take for you to do it, and then understand how much more valuable it is to be able to farm it out to somebody else.
We program our brain to talk to this. We can definitely do that. It sounds like the same system.
Yeah.
May not be exact as to that you spend time with. So try to translate this, you may not be pro level, at least a basic level, where you can at least be comfortable. But at least you still know the necessities, you still know this, how to do, how to work, how long to take. And it's also in
Yeah.
You're a strong farm believer in manifestation.
Yeah. So that the book Extra 10 Actuality is all about manifesting your goals and dreams, and it's really a retrospective look at what worked for me, and the fact that, so in writing it, I realized that we live in a 3D reality, and then we have this innerverse, and this innerverse is where your creativity comes from. It's the creative space, and you can take an idea and take it from the idea to a tangible reality using 3D reality and this innerverse. So it's intertwined, and there's ways to kind of bend the rules. It's like being in a matrix, and you get to choose what kind of things you want to do. And so through that, I mean, even in that, there's a part where I talk about the inner reality and how KRS-One, he was at like this, he had this seminar, and he was talking about a pop can, a Rockstar pop can, and he said to imagine the can, close your eyes and imagine it. And he's like, what eyes did you use to see that? And he says, say Rockstar in your head. What voice was that? Was that your voice? And where did that voice come from? And it's those type of things that I get into in that book. And people say it's like a mind-bending journey, but it's really about manifestation and then the realities of it. And in that book, I really roll out that there's layers to the realities that we're in, and there's layers to our imagination and knowledge, and it goes really deep in that book.
Okay. I'm going to ask another question here. So what is the unfair advantage, and how can this be used in the business?
So the unfair advantage is when you let go of the fact that everything's supposed to be fair, then there's an unfair advantage, as in there's advantages that you can find that other people don't have. There's advantages other people have that you might not have. And it's understanding how do you utilize your unfair advantage. So one of the things I walk people through is how you can start a business and monetize one of these unfair advantages. And a lot of it is to do with like what you know, the skills that you have, the knowledge that you have, you can use that to turn it into, it can be like a YouTube channel. You could start your Instagram just by sharing knowledge, sharing insight. And then as you're doing that, people are going to start asking you questions to go deeper into things. And then you can start to monetize that. And the unfair advantage is your insight. We all have a unique insight into things. So my experiences are different from yours. So what you've experienced, you have value in that. That could add to what I already do, because you're going to have a different perspective from, how to navigate things than maybe I would. So the two of us simultaneously could be helping people, because I'm going to maybe talk to a different group of people than you are. But the unfair advantage is understanding what your audience would be, and then how to connect with that audience, and really understanding how to utilize the tools, the skills, and the knowledge that you already have to create something and help people in a positive way. Because as you're helping people, it comes back to you. It's like a boomerang effect. And so the more you help people, is like, you might not even make money from the initial person you're helping, but it'll spawn other people to come to you and then want to pay for your knowledge, want to have some individual coaching. So it's those type of things I really go into in the Unfair Advantage. And that's a free download book you can get off of my website.
So, love it. It's like this power in that book. This power in individuality. Although, for instance, Bob is a fucking million. Bob can get into events, get connections, and do so much more than me, which I'm not really there. I have less than $10 in my book. And I want to, me and Bob in the same social setting, but Bob's one of them have so many more connections because he's able to intermingle with those that are millionaires. Which me, on the other hand, I'm a friend of Bob, but I'm not intermingled with him in his social setting. So my unfair advantage in this scenario would be to, I'm assuming, would be to recognize what it is that I have to offer. Okay, for one, I may not be in the league and stuff, but I do have an advantage, such as I have a different perspective. Now, how is this perspective going to be mutually beneficial to Bob and his church? I mean, in this case, you would obviously think that up to me and Bob hit it off for a particular reason. So obviously, there's some form of commodity. And the unfair advantage is pretty much exploiting your innate, to achieve the level of that you want, instead of wallowing self-pity and woven them. Like, well, I don't believe I can make it to that level because I'm not financially stable. I don't have the possessions to get and mingle with individuals who are like-minded. No. The unfair advantage is recognize this, expanding it, and going from it. Did I sum it up a bit? A little bit.
Yeah, because
that's right.
No, it's good, because what people don't realize is when you're starting out, nobody knows who you are, so you have the advantage of being able to make mistakes and fix them without like a big audience looking at you and criticizing you and analyzing everything you do. So the advantage is you can intermingle with people, and people aren't going to be threatened at first because they're not thinking you're going to try to eat their lunch, take their business, whatever, because they want to help you because they see, oh, this guy's got a lot of potential, and they're not threatened at all. And as long as you're on the come up and you're learning, you're advancing. It's just we have that fear that we think, oh, we're not good enough yet. But everybody starts out at the bottom. I don't care who you are. You start out at the bottom and you have to rise up. And some people rise up really fast. Some people take their time, but everybody starts at the bottom. Nobody knows who they are. Nobody cares who they are. And you got to create that excitement and draw people to you and say, hey, I have some insight that you probably want to hear. And once you have that kind of confidence, that's like the hip hop mentality again, right? Once you have that confidence that, hey, I got some value, you should probably check this out. If you check it out right now, you can get it for the lowest price. Like sometimes it's free, but don't come back to me and start looking for when I'm big, looking for free, because I'm not giving you no free at that point in time. So, it's like, you guys at the ground level, man, this is the best time to link up with me. And that's where I see when you're starting out, that's the best way to be, right?
Yeah, the why? Who is judging? I mean, you're gonna have names. You're gonna have your sports. There's things that do happen, but it's a time for freedom, time for growth, time to figure out who you are. So I just took the page.
Yeah.
And now watching
Mm-hmm.
great. My website is now for audio video podcast. So my listeners have an option to how to listen to audio and also watch the video. So I was like, you know what? Season 3 for you guys, we're gonna definitely do a video so you put a face to the crazy son of a mother that's talking to your ears all the time. I mean, it's a work in progress, and myself a work in progress as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm gonna go ahead and hit you with our Dine and Dash, which is lightning round. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm just gonna ask a few questions. And you just decide, you can say either or. So go ahead and Dine and Dash out there. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Let's do it, okay? Movies or books?
I prefer movies, even though I'm an author. I do prefer movies over a book.
That's the call.
What was the next one?
Sex or call?
Sex or call?
Sex or call?
Sorry, man. Sorry. Text.
So, got you.
Because then I can do it at my own speed.
Right. Past or present?
You said what in pleasure?
Past or present?
Yeah, present. Present, because I'm in control of what's going on. I already know what happened in the past.
Right. You said you said pleasure. Okay, so you got sex from
yeah,
and pleasure from pleasure. What is going on? You're freaking dude.
You know?
You gotta get a little bit more freaky. Lunch or dinner?
I prefer dinner.
Dinner?
That's right. I eat big at dinner. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Now it's about to get really spicy. Sex or celibacy?
What was the first one?
Sex or celibacy?
No, sex. Of
Sex,
course.
right? One of life's many pleasures. You can deny yourself of it.
You know? Yeah.
Now, if you had to choose between wealth or love, what would it be?
Love, man.
Love?
Because love lasts. Yeah, it lasts. Yeah.
Definitely love. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Love.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, that was pretty much it for Dine and Dash. The light and the which that we found. A lot about you. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to do Thank you, dude. Let's cool it down. Okay.
Yeah.
After a long day of fighting, kick back, watch the movie, and can't much about that. I think let's begin to say the primal focus in life, and we have all the stuff and all the business even like it.
Yeah. So you go on mindsetforsuccesstraining.com is where you can find my freebies and a lot of my training videos. And then my books are on Amazon. You can link me at W.T.Hamiliton on Instagram, and you have the link to my books there. And then you also can interact with me on Instagram. I'm pretty active on Instagram.
Right, so all that information is here, there, up there, and down there. Check out W.T.Hamiliton's work. Check him out. He's a cool well-rounded guy. And I'm happy, definitely glad to come here on the house show and get almost a crazy question. Okay? Yeah, learn so much about his work, his methodology, his mindset, his ideology, and his faith to just, improve others, not just himself, but others around him. It's amazing, it's rare. Not just living for yourself, you have to live for others, which makes you very, 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 very hard. Okay, very. Did I make it very hard?
And
Okay.
I know I thank you as well for everything you're doing, man, because I think this show is very important, and you're reaching a lot of people that's just going to keep growing and getting bigger. So you're doing a great job, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Round of applause. Round of applause. No, definitely not. It's been a pleasure. Okay? Things you keep going through and blessings, love, and success for all your
Yeah,
endeavors.
thank you, appreciate that.
All right, well, that's pretty much wrapped up today's episode.